Now, given what he said in the last 24 hours, check out how the right-wing media is handling this. Breitbart rolling out this headline: Immigration shock, Amnesty Dawn suggests citizenship for illegal aliens. Amnesty Dawn, they say. Let me bring in Hollywood actor Bamajan Bamba, who stars in NBC's The Good Place and is also in the upcoming film Black Panther. He is a DACA activist and works with Define America, and he is also undocumented. So, Bamajan, nice to meet you. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me, Brooke.
So
really
here you
important.
are. It's so important that the fact that you're speaking up. I just wanted to ask you why. I mean, a little of your backstory. You know, your parents brought you over to the States, to the South Bronx, you know, all the way from the Ivory Coast when you were just 10.
Yeah.
Why are you speaking up and telling the world that you're undocumented?
Well, look, one thing that's important to know, I came here legally with my parents, and then some way, somehow, we just lost status, or I lost status. So the DREAM Act came about, and it's helping me remain legal and continue to live my dream. But then the administration decides, oh, they want to cancel DACA. So that's when I knew I just couldn't stay silent anymore. That's when I knew that God gave me a platform as an actor and I needed to use my voice. So that's what I've been doing to try to humanize this very political issue that's been so politicized, especially this past weekend.
Yes, and I want to ask you also about what the president said in that impromptu conversation in a second, but just tell me a little bit more about your story. You know, you're young, you're in the South Bronx, you know, really more of a Dominican neighborhood. You start learning what?
Right.
You start learning Spanish. Tell me about your life then.
No, I only spoke French when I came from Ivory Coast. So there was actually no French ESL class, so they put me in a Spanish ESL class. So you imagine this French-speaking kid, and I'm in a Spanish class. I don't understand English, I don't understand Spanish, and I'm lost in translation. And they put me next to an African kid who's actually tricking me the entire day. You know, I'm asking him, hey, help me tell the teacher I need to go to the bathroom. How do I say that? He's like, say kiss my butt. So I go ahead and say that, and I'm in trouble all day. So it's not uncommon. There's definitely a lack of resources for people who are not Hispanic or Latino, African immigrants, such as myself, who are Francophone. So besides that, I went to high school. You know, I was an actor. I was playing tennis. I was homecoming king. And then I realized that with my status, I couldn't get any financial aid to pursue my acting dream. And that's really when I realized that I was undocumented and how it really affected my life. So now, I mean, I've been acting through drama. I have a family. I have a daughter. And I really don't want to be separated from them.
Black Panther, you want to stay in the U.S. I get it, and I think it's so important just to hear just a window on your life and being here in this country. And so that said, here you are. You hear the president saying last night, essentially suggesting, all right, I'm okay with a pathway to citizenship for some dreamers. Now, I don't know how that's going to play with some hardcore conservatives in this country in the House of Representatives, but does that reassure you, those words from the president?
Look... It's just the story changes so much. Tomorrow it could be something completely different. But what I do want to say is...
Do you believe him, Bamajan?
Look, all I can do is stand on the side of hope. I have to be optimistic because I have a family to provide for. I got to figure out how to pay my bills and how to survive. I can't, you know, be paralyzed. I can't be depressed. I have to keep moving on, just like all the undocumented Americans that are trying to, you know, find a permanent place in this country. And I just tell everyone I support a Clean Dream Act, which, you know, really means that it's not only helping the 800,000 dreamers, but there's millions more who came when they were young too, but aged out because of some kind of arbitrary age limit. So I feel
what does that mean? What does that mean, though? Let me ask you just quickly, because you know the president says, you know, no wall, no protection for dreamers, and you have these hardline progressives who have said hell no to a wall. Is it worth it so that you can be protected?
Well, what I can say is that I don't know if a wall will stop people who are fleeing war to get to safety. I mean, we don't talk about the migrant crisis in Libya anymore, but there's a whole Mediterranean Ocean that people are crossing to get to freedom. So I don't know. I'm not a politician, you know, I'm not in construction, but what I do know is that I've been in the country for 25 years, or like Jorge Garcia, who just got deported, has been here for 30 years. And I don't know how long we have to be here. We have to continue to prove that we're the best that this country has to offer. We're here to give back. We're here to contribute. And I don't know what it's going to take, but we're just going to keep fighting. I'm just going to keep sharing my story. I'm just going to keep trying to win hearts over of Americans, of 90% of the country that believes that dreamers should have permanent status in America.
No, the majority of America, Bamba John, is on your side, and I love how you said you stand on the side of hope. We all stand on the side of hope. So Bamba John Bamba, let's have a conversation again as we get up to this March DACA deadline. Thank you so much, and good luck to you. Appreciate you.
Thank you so much for having me.
You got it. Coming up next.